Welcome back. It's still Journalist Hangout, and of course, we're looking at trending current affairs issues across the length and breadth of the country. Well, there may be a political storm brewing at the cup between the Nigeria Governors Forum and the presidency over the planned privatization of 10 power plants under the National Integrated Power Project (NIPP). Governors of the 36 states, through a statement by the chairman of the forum, Governor Aminu Tambuwal of Sokoto State, unanimously rejected the sale of the power plants, revealing that the NGF have instructed its lawyers to approach the Federal High Court, which have already issued a court order restraining all parties in the suit from taking any further action that will render the outcome of the motion on notice seeking for interlocutory injunction nugatory. Well, a lot of legal back and forth now, but this is between the governors and the federal government. BKO, what exactly is the subject matter? What's the contention? Because the statement by Governor Tambuwal is just seeking that the federal government should stay away from the plant sale.
Yes, you know, even before now, I think it was the House of Reps that said, look, we are not in support of the attempts to sell these farms. And it's all down to transparency, because look at the privatization of the power sector that was done during the Jonathan years.
Jonathan administration, yeah.
It remains a mess. It remains a mess. We've not come out of that one. We are trying to figure out what to do. And then they've shortlisted 16 companies, 16 farms again. So the governors, they are also part owners of these things.
Of course.
Some states built this thing from the scratch, all by themselves. I know a state, for example, where because the federal government could not pay the contractors, they left. And when they left, the state government took it over. That's what happened in Kwara. The NIPP stuff in Kwara. They were not paying the contractors and they left in annoyance. Bukola Saraki brought them back and completed it. But what do we have? A state uses its resources to build a power plant, and then you discover that the law does not favor even your own state in terms of getting the end product of what you have spent billions to do. Because the law says is once you generate above, I think, 50 megawatts, it goes straight into the national grid, where it can then be shared
to everybody.
So you will find that Ilorin, for example, may actually not have as much electricity as Kishi in Oyo North, which is not far away from Kwara. But the people of Kwara that own the power plant, that use their resources to construct the power plant,
and not benefit.
What's it called too? I know that Akwa Ibom too built power plant. So these power plants, these power plants, government cannot, the federal government cannot wholly take decisions about them. You've got to sit with the states and say, okay, this is what will happen. In any case, what the law says is that whatever money the federal government makes shall be shared between the 3 tiers of government. So they've got to discuss even that. What happens if we sell, what will come to us? So those governors want to be sure that, look, at the end of the day, they don't feel cheated and all that. So government has to sit with them and see how, look at even the matter of $480 million that they have been fighting the Attorney General for. Governors are saying, look, you can't pay those consultants. They didn't even do anything.
All right, Mayor, let's look at the timing of this. Most of the governors, about 28 or 27 of them, their terms will be ending in the next few months. Even the current administration is wrapping up. This sale, if the federal government still insists they want to push it through at this, the eve of the end of the administration. Do you think there's some...
No, it can't work.
There's some interest...
No, it can't work.
Beyond
it can't work.
the state interest?
It has to do with our lack of federalism. We have this Kabiyesi mentality in the federal government, thinking that, oh, the federal government can do whatever it likes. It's not supposed to be so. Things that are jointly owned cannot be disposed of by one party alone. That's what the governors are saying. The federal government doesn't own those plants. It's jointly owned. So if it is jointly owned, they have to sit with governors to take decisions. But in most times, they don't do that. We have money in maybe sovereign account, or we have money in SS Good account. The federal government will just wake up one day and decide that, oh, this is what we want to do with the money. The money that statutorily belongs to the 3 tiers of government, federal government will just wake up and say, this is what we want to do. If you remember, that is why the governors always go to court, to go to Supreme Court, to say, please, help us interpret the law. And I want to commend the governors for doing that, for going to it, because the ones that we have seen have shown that the federal government is not capable of doing this thing transparently. A lot of problems we saw later that even all these discos and gencos that were given out almost at ridiculous prices, without due diligence, without people who can invest money in it. And then the federal government has to now start paying some money to subsidize, and we have not been able to move forward.
You spent 2.9 trillion.
Yes.
To
subsidize things.
Intervention funds.
Yes, that you sold. But because there are no transparency and all that, because some people will just sit down and take decisions. So if they allow them to do this again, we'll have that problem. Government is a continuum. Whether the governor is there, the next governor will take over, because it's a governors forum. So it's a body of governors. So whether their time is going to expire in May or not, what is important is that the governors, the body of the governors through the governors forum have decided that the federal government cannot just take decisions that affects everybody alone. And I support them.
Okay, let's see how